Hey, welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Row. My name is David, and today we've got a special guest. Ivan, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, David. Thank you so much for having me here.
So Ivan is local to me. He lives in town, and he has started Maldonados whiskey business. And tell us a little bit about that.
So thanks for asking. It's something that just kind of started with the bar that I have in my basement, just like you. Having people over, tasting, shares, yourself as well. You and Jamie.
It's awesome.
So it's been a lot of fun. But I got to the point where I wanted to actually start doing some reviews on whiskeys myself and go on and have a YouTube channel. It just kind of started from there. And then my mission at this point is kind of bringing whiskeys like craft distilleries, things like that we don't have in the Northern Virginia area or the DMV where we are, to people and make them aware of them. There's so many different expressions, as you know, David, out there. So I wanted to bring those to the forefront and talk about them and have people experience them.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's one of the things when we started doing our barrel picks, that was one of the things we wanted to do. It was very similar, which is help people get a hold of stuff that isn't necessarily the big brand. It's not the big name brand that everybody knows about because, well, so a lot of those are really hard to get. And if you can find some really good craft stuff and it not be too crafty, and a good price and really good quality, that's kind of the thing. Well, and so Ivan, you decided to do your first barrel pick for Maldonados whiskey business, from a brand that I really, really enjoyed. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the pick, because we're gonna actually put it up against a whole bunch of stuff here in just a minute.
Yeah, so a lot of your viewers are aware of Blue Bolt Spirits, which is a buddy of ours, Will, that owns that. But we got a chance to go down there to Crittenden yet again, down in Kiln, Mississippi, and that is where Blue Bolt sources their whiskey from. I have had several of their expressions, and they're just unbelievable. They're fantastic.
So one of the things that I liked about the first bottle of Blue Bolt that I got my hands on, it was also the first time I'd ever had Crittenden. It really, really reminded me of a lot of the same properties that 13th Colony has. And I think there's that southern heat that really can affect those barrels. But it's moist heat. It's not a dry heat. So you don't get that Texas funky thing. It's just rich, dark, deep, and delicious. So anyway, when you told me you were doing a pick, I wanted to have you over so we could do that. And now, one interesting thing about this one, this is a wheater.
Yeah.
So it's actually wheat, the second grade in the mash bill. What's the proof on it again?
This is 118.6 proof.
And 6.5 years.
It's 6.5 years. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I grabbed some bottles to put up against that. We're going to see how it compares. That this, again, smaller distillery down in Mississippi compares against some of these bigger brands. So one of the brands that I think is pretty comparable and wanted to include is ASW. This is a Fiddler Georgia Heartwood store pick coming in at 115.4 proof, and also brought out the Larceny Barrel Proof B 524. That's one that a lot of you have had. You've had a Larceny Barrel Proof. You know what it entails. This one's 125 point proof, so it's a little bit higher proof, but still it's wheated and comparable. Both of these are wheated. Another wheated, actually all four of these are wheated, is Maker's Mark, the Heart release for 2024. This is the wood finishing series release from Maker's Mark, coming in at 112 proof. And lastly, a Weller Antique 107. This is the standard release, not a store pick, coming in at 107 proof from Buffalo Trace. All right, Ivan, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it up a little bit with you looking away.
Okay.
And then I'm going to look away and you mix it up some more. All right, we're good. You take the front row, I'll take the back row. All right, well, let's start with your pick and kind of describe what we're getting on this thing. Because this thing is all kinds of toffee, caramel, buttercream. There's a nice little bit of like a blackberry jam.
Yeah. I'm getting this little bit of like a caramel. I like what you said about the jam. It's almost like a little bit of cherry, like a black cherry, just very slight black cherry. But that caramel kind of syrup on the nose.
Yeah, it's really good.
Cheers.
Really viscous. Really chewy, rich, dense. Lots of vanilla cream. And it rides a line between like a dark purple grape, a dark cherry, and a dark, like a blackberry. It's like sitting right on the fence between those three.
Yeah, it's funny. When we tasted this down there, and I just mentioned something about cherry, but I can see how this kind of blackberry now is coming out of this. There's this, I describe it as kind of a waffle cone. It's this slight kind of vanilla, but more of like almost like a little bit of slight pastry, and that's where I'm thinking about a waffle cone.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that kind of waffly, almost like a vanilla wafer kind of thing going on. Let's go to this one, and we will work our way across.
Absolutely.
And we'll hit the Crittenden each time between the different pours and talk about how they line up. Okay, this I'm getting a little bit of a little bit more of a fresh berry than the Crittenden. It doesn't have the richness on the nose or the caramel.
Almost like a raspberry or something ripe and bright.
Yep, for sure. All right, let's try it.
Let's go for it.
That is not what I expected.
Oak.
It's oak, chewy, a little savory quality to it.
There is, yeah. It's oak right away for me. A sweeter oak, not really a dry oak. It was a sweeter oak. It's
chewy and viscous, but it has a little bit of almost like a mild barbecue.
Yeah, there's a
barbecue
spice that lingers. It dissipates, but it's almost a little bit of toasted, or like you said something like kind of mesquite or.
Oh yeah, there's kind of this barbecue woody smell.
Going back to Crittenden, it just gives me that hug. I get that hug now.
A nice sweet embrace.
Not as much of a intense nose as the other two.
I'm getting a lot of alcohol on the nose on this one.
Yeah, I'm not
kind of a burny ethanol.
Definitely not getting the fruit like the other two.
I'm getting a little bit
of sweetness.
The only fruit I'm getting is a little bit of a citrus. Now I'm starting to get like a grainy barrel.
It's kind of funny because when you said that, I was almost thinking of a 4-grain. That I've had before, something along those lines.
Yep.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Ooh, it's hot. It's like a hot peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Ooh, with burnt toast.
Yeah, the spice and the toasted note is very prominent. I mean, it just takes over your whole mouth.
It's got a good mouthfeel.
Oh, this lingers.
Really,
this
really
is
good
still
mouthfeel.
going. I'm still getting some notes here inside of my gums.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but it's turning into a peanut butter and just like you said, a 4-grain is a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is much more of like a fresh berry.
Oh, I was gonna say
raspberry jam.
I was gonna say some kind of fresh fruit. I'm like, ooh, I got that right away.
As a full-time firefighter and former
Wow, that's nice. Light.
It's light. There's a little bit of an underlying caramel, vanilla quality.
Yeah, I was going to say like a honey or your caramel, yes.
Oh, the honey, yeah, that's a good way to say it. All right, I'm drinking.
Sometimes when people get berries with some whipped cream and they put like a little bit of a drizzle of honey on it, something similar to that on the nose.
It's good, a little mild oak. That berry really comes forward. Little oakiness, decent mouthfeel. It's a little bit of a bittery thing on the end.
I've gotten this before. At the end, it's kind of a tannin, like a little bit of a drying. You get that little bit of a drying effect towards the back of the of your tongue. And by the way, guys, if you don't mind, I actually named this bottle, and it is called That Mississippi Heat. Nice. That is literally what is on the bottle. That is our name, $2.49 for Blue Bolt. And I don't want to interrupt this whole thing, but Blue Bolt, as many of you probably know or may not know, represents the 247, 248, 249 annual release, represents the Marine Corps birthday. Yep. So this is not only the highest proof expression coming out of Crittenden, it is the first bottle release of the annual release of bottle 249 for Marine Corps birthday.
Yeah, we probably said so. So the founder and owner of Blue Bolt is still an active duty Marine. So I mean,
He is.
obviously supporting a good cause and a cool dude anyway.
Yes.
So, wow, there's way more like complex sweet notes on this than this one.
Yeah, which is
Wow, a little more proof too. But it's wow. Okay, this is interesting. Chocolate brownie batter,
ooh, different.
milk chocolate.
Oh yeah, very different than the others.
Yeah, a little bit of peanut buttery, but it's not nutty. It's like a creamy, more of an almond extract, maybe.
Yeah, like you said, brownie. More of a milk chocolate than a dark chocolate or deep cocoa. It's definitely on a sweeter. Interesting.
It's like yellow cake with vanilla ice cream and tons of almost like, actually, it's more of a carrot cake. Got that carrot cake spice to it.
Well, the baking spice, whether that's a little bit of clove, a little bit of, it's definitely, there's even maybe a little hint of cinnamon. I think that might be where you're going with the carrot cake, which I love carrot cake, by the way. That little bit of frosting, but then it just goes into the other notes, into that spice. But it's not too spicy. It doesn't,
No.
It definitely doesn't dwell on that particular note. Sometimes you get something where you kind of, I like candy corns, but sometimes you get something that's doesn't have a whole lot of sweetness on it, and it has that. When you said plastic, I'm trying to.
It's almost like waxy, maybe is a better word.
Well, something kind of waxy. Interesting.
The more I sip on it, the less I like it. Like at first, I thought I was like, "Wow, this is really good," and then the more I get this, starting to get this weird waxy finish on it.
Oh, I just went back to the Blue Bolt again. Any excuse I have to go back to it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. That's where I want to be, is back at the Blue Bolt with all these.
Wow.
Okay, so we're gonna go off camera. We're gonna figure out which of these is the most similar to the Blue Bolt.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna. Do you want to rank these?
Sure.
Top to bottom, and then we'll say where we think the Blue Bolt is in the whole lineup.
Great idea.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, Ivan. I think this was actually way easier than I thought it would be. What was your fourth place of the blind samples?
Fourth place. So I'm going to put that right about here.
Even though it had that little bit of weirdness at the end,
Yeah.
the ones that were below it were worse. So
tell me how you really feel.
And by worse, I mean not as good. They're all delicious whiskeys.
Absolutely.
We love our whiskeys here on Whiskey Row. We're proud of all the hard work that goes into all these whiskeys. But that was my second place, your fourth place.
100%.
What was your third place? All right. So Ivan, that was my third place as well.
Second place.
Is that one?
It's actually this one here.
All right. That was my fourth place. There is something about that savory note on that one. Our first place is aligned tonight.
Really?
So this one right here?
Yes.
All right. All right. That was my first place as well. Nice. So it was a little thinner.
Yes.
But it was still really good. So yeah, so I think for me, number one was the closest. For you, it was this one here, the position A.
Yeah.
But I have to say, hands down, I think your pick is better than all of them. So well done.
Thank you.
I would much rather have a bottle of this Blue Bolt from Crittenden, 6.5 year wheat whiskey, or wheated bourbon, excuse me.
Bourbon. Yeah.
I would rather have that than anything in this lineup. Fourth place right here, which was my second place. That's the Maker's Mark Heart Release. That's what was giving me the plasticness. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Your third place, which was my third place, that is the Larceny. Your second, my fourth. That's the Fiddler. Number one for both of us tonight was the Weller Antique 107. I think it was the closest. You were pretty close to saying it was the closest.
Yeah. I was kind of back and forth on it.
It's got all of the delicious berry notes of the Antique 107, but it's richer, darker, higher proof. And yeah, that pretty much is it. So Ivan, thank you for coming on the channel tonight. I know that you've sold a lot of these, but you do still have some available. We're going to put the link to the available stock left at Shared Pour in the description of this video. So if you're interested, check out this pick from Blue Bolt from sourced from Crittenden. What are your socials?
So I've got Instagram. It's Maldonados Whiskey Business. No apostrophe, just Maldonados Whiskey Business. YouTube, Maldonados Whiskey Business. Again, common theme. And Facebook as well. I've got Maldonados Whiskey Business, my professional page. It's on there.
Amazing pick. As soon as we're done and you leave the house, I'm going to go order some bottles because I want more of that in my life. So, but thank you for coming on the channel tonight. If you ended up enjoying this video, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And until next time, find a bottle you love.